So, I, as someone who wants to pursue game dev career, wanted to test my skills and do something related to this hobby. And what better practice there is than giving not needed advice to other people who actually make games. But first, I need to say something about balance and content in the finals. You see, I like this game, like, a lot. So when I suggest something, this comes not from a place of frustration, like, add something new already, I unlocked everything there is, but from a place of appreciation, like, I'm glad with things as they are, except nukes, but I would love to see some elements that would spice up the gameplay and add to the things that make this game different from the competitors. And the first thing that I wanted to add, like the reason I made this video, anti-gravity grenade, was added to the game by the developers in this season. Like, looks like I'm not that bad at this not needed advice thing after all. Of course, our ideas were not exactly the same. Mine was more powerful because it was a specialization, not a gadget, and acted more like a stasis, not reverse gravity, as it acts in the game right now. And if you don't believe me, let me present you with Exhibit A, a screenshot of my document when it was created, 29th of December, and last edited, 13th of January. I would have done this video earlier, but my GPU broke and I got a new one only like a month later. Exhibit B, my voice message to my friend when Season 2 announcement came out, who told me before that anti-gravity grenade was like a bullshit idea.
Ты помнишь, когда я предлагал как идею антигравитационную гранату, и в итоге ты мне такой сказал: «Не, дичь, они ее добавили!»
Next up is the Force Grenade gadget for light build. My thought process for this gadget was, if you can get like a pocket cloaking device in the face of vanishing bomb, then we can do the same with evasive dash, but like in the form of grenade that heavily pushes you and your enemies away from the explosion. It deals some self-damage to discourage you from excessive usage and to forbid you from running away with low HP using it. Like, seems logical to me. Next one is Manipulator Specialization for Heavies. It allows you to grab arena carryables, cash boxes and statuettes while keeping your hands free, although it will give you like a move speed penalty while doing so. It also empowers your elbow bash, like this quick melee hit, with a bit of additional damage and some knockback, because I feel like while this game is all about positioning, it has very few instruments to disrupt positioning of your enemies. It also will allow you to revive teammates on the go, like holding them with Manipulator and reviving them with your hands, giving more support options to heavy builds. Another one is Healing Pulse, a specialization for mediums. It has 2 charges and lets you emanate a healing pulse that heals yourself, nearby allies, and nearby enemies. It is done to forbid you from using it in active fight, only to be used after a fight, or while you are behind cover, or even while in close combat if you don't mind healing your enemies too. I think this healing option will be more suitable for players that wish to be more active in a fight, but still help their teammates. Next one is Impact Grenade, gadget for all builds. While it deals a small amount of damage, this damage is instantaneously done when a grenade touches something, allowing you to finish off an opponent or quickly destroy an already damaged structure. I want this one added to deal with my personal frustration as a melee enjoyer to defeat enemies that are running away with like a little bit of HP, you know? Another thing I want added is laser rifle for heavy builds. Its gimmick is that it does not fire instantaneously, but needs to be charged first, after which it will fire a long-range, piercing laser shot. First off, I wanted something more interesting than like basic semi-automatic weapon, although a new slugger for heavy is interesting enough. But secondly, I wanted a good balanced ranged option for heavy builds. Also, it would be cool to see it synergize with fire in some way. For example, having less base damage but dealing more damage to burning targets. Also, a cool addition would be a gas mask. Don't know for what build though. It makes you receive much less damage from gas, but forbids you from aiming down sights and interacting with objects. This option is made a little less useful with recent gas rework, but still is an amazing and interesting option to consider. Also, I find it funny how the only major games that have gas clouds in it are Battlefield 1 and the Finals, which was made by the people who worked on Battlefield 1 and 4. So it would be even better to see gas masks return. Final specialization of the day is decoy for light builds that allows you to either put a hologram on the ground, like of you sitting and aiming down sights, that drops a sonar grenade when shot that reveals enemies nearby, or it can be used to make it sound like somebody is capturing a cash-out, but only for a couple of seconds, which can be used to bait enemies to show themselves or use their resources, although decoys would not show up on sonar grenades or trigger mines or receive damage from gas, so enemies would notice that it's a bait by disinformation. I think that this is a great idea, at least thematically, to include some kind of holograms into the game, but also to make light build more of a trickster, because the only things fulfilling this fantasy are cloaking device and vanishing bomb and glitch grenade and stun guns. And the last major idea for today is a bow for mediums. Although a role of an interesting type of long-range weapon was fulfilled with FAMAS, bow is more interesting in my opinion. It can be fired quickly, dealing less damage and with a worse trajectory, or it can be drawn for longer to increase its damage, headshot multiplier, and projectile speed. I think that some kind of methodical and hard but powerful weapon would be great fit for mediums, like kunais for lights. Also, I have a couple of bare-bone ideas about new game show events. First one is akin to Dead Go Boom, although not as frustrating. Instead of exploding right away, defeated contestants will leave random barrels along their statuettes. Those barrels would be helpful both to allies and the enemies, depends upon which barrel was dropped and who was closer. Another one is Quick Time Event, which lets players revive quicker if they get Quick Time Event right, but will revive a bit slower if they fail. Although they can choose to not press anything and they will revive as usual. And the last one is Gadget Happy, which makes all gadgets recharge twice as fast, although I don't know if it should affect specializations. And that's it! If you liked my ideas or have some solid criticisms, please leave a comment. My favorite thing is arguing online with strangers. Leave a like if you enjoyed my video and subscribe to see more stuff like this.